Welcome back to the See It in Action demo series. Okay, for this demo, I am going to demonstrate how to migrate my entire Windows server from VMware to Nutanix AHV with Cirrus Migrate Cloud. This is the environment. First, I have this STW2K22 Windows machine here, running on a VMware server at the 0.86 IP as our migration source, with 4 CPUs, 8 gigabytes of memory, a 40 and a 1 gigabyte of hard drives. Note that we are only using VMware as an example. In a real-life scenario, our source storage can be any block storage. It can be physical or VM from any hypervisors, no matter it is private cloud or public cloud. Connecting to it, I can see that this is a 2022 Windows server on VMware. Under the device manager, we are currently using an LSI adapter with the iSCSI initiator and the multipath driver. And note that these are the only device drivers currently installed. Later on, CMC will automatically install the Nutanix drivers, and we will come back to this. And here I have a 1 gigabyte test data drive, E drive, named my credit card info, and the C drive, which is the 40 gigabyte boot drive. As for the migration destination, I will be migrating to this Nutanix AHV. In this hypervisor, I only have the default controller VMs and a Prism Center installed. For network, there is just a subnet 1 setup. And there is a storage container named Test Container 1 with some VMs in here. And I will be migrating to this volume group. Let's go to Cirrus Data Cloud. This VMware to Nutanix AHV is the project that I am using for this demo. Oh, I also have another machine, Ubuntu 20, already prepared in this project. We will need this machine acting as an access node within the same network. And I will further explain this access node concept. Now, I am going to deploy Cirrus Migrate Cloud on my host by copying the installation command and pasting it in the shell. CMC will install and register to Cirrus Data Cloud all by itself. My Windows 2022 2K22 host is now displayed on the registered host list, meaning that the installation is completed. And here's the 1 gigabyte data drive and the 40 gigabyte boot drive, the E drive and the C drive. Before I continue to show you the next step, let's briefly look at MigrateOps. That is a purpose-built data mobility as code automation platform that is designed to make data migration in enterprise scale easier, safer, and more predictable. This is an automation platform that optimizes global data mobility beyond just storage-to-storage data migration, thanks to the flexible automation capabilities that work with your OS, applications, or even cloud infrastructures. It enables seamless chaining of functionalities with other automations that are often managed externally, such as OS automation, application automation, public and private cloud platform automation, virtualization platform automation, enterprise storage management automation, SAN management automation. Normally, we will come here to create migration sessions manually. But for this scenario, we will use MigrateOps. Let's briefly take a closer look at first. Here, I want to show you the MigrateOps reference, where there are purpose-built recipes for all the scenarios you need. I'm going to use this new Compute Migration to Nutanix AHV cluster recipe for this demo. From here, you can see all the options, including the CPU and memory configurations and all these settings. But these are all optional, since they are automatically determined based on the source host's configuration. Therefore, what's special about this is that our source can be any block storage, including RDM or other storage directly attached to the VM, which does not rely on VMware snapshot capabilities. Then we have cutover options and destination storage configurations. But one particular option I would like to point out is that we will need to have a CMC helper image. CMC helper is a temporary VM that is created on the Nutanix AHV cluster to assist in the migration process. It is managed by Cirrus Data Cloud and will be cleaned up automatically after the migration is completed. So we will need to specify an image and default to CMC helper VM, and we can download it here with this link. Let me show you. Go to Settings and Image Configuration. Then you can create the image through the URL or upload a file. As for this demo, we have already done it. If you have a different name, you may specify it separately. And now let me set up the integration for the next step of this demo. Under Integrations, you can find the Nutanix AHV integration. I will proceed to add this integration with a name, CDS HQ Nutanix, the server address, username, and password, and verify the connection with any of my hosts in the same network. It's connected and has found the Nutanix cluster, and the version is correct. Now that I have CMC installed and the integration ready, Let's move on to create a new migration operation. In this scenario, I am migrating this W2K22, and I am using this ST Ubuntu 20.01 as my access node, as I mentioned before, because we need another node within the same network. It can be any machine or any of your source host. Click on Start New Operation, and this will open up an editor window where we can enter the configuration. Like many other industry-standard automation tools, this configuration is in YAML syntax. Let me bring up an editor to show you how simple it is to create a brand new configuration. Also, I even have the GitHub Copilot enabled so that we can enlist the use of generative AI to assist us on building this configuration. All right, let's start with the operation name, and oh wow, the AI has already suggested a lot of different things, but let me create this from scratch just to show you. And of course, while I am creating the configuration, I can always come back to the MigrateOps reference to apply all the fields we need. Back to my editor, I have the recipe, system name, integration name, the access node. Once again, we need another node within the same network, and it can be any machine or any of your source hosts. Destination configuration, network settings, and the IQOS level, where IQOS is a purpose-built feature that intelligently minimizes the impact of migration, allowing CMC to migrate as fast as possible without impacting production I/O. Optionally, I can also customize the cutover actions. I can set to stop application, then to stop service for cutover. I can simply use the generative AI to set up all of the cutover procedures. On top of that, in Cirrus Data Cloud, we provide extensive cutover steps that I can easily incorporate. Say before I cut over and I want a consistent image, I will have to stop the application and a lot more that I can do just by looking at this. Or I can even put in a shell command to perform various actions. However, we don't need to do that for demo, since we can opt for the default options. Now I believe this is ready. Note that this is just for one host. You can add as many hosts as you want into your configuration. But for now, let's keep it simple and submit this configuration for this demo. Let's paste this into the configuration editor window and create the operation. The migration operation has started. Once I enter this newly created operation, I can view all the details. This is going quickly. The operation has already identified the access node. The AHV cluster is prepared and identified the network, the subnet, the boot image, the container, and all these things that I need. And if I go to Nutanix looking at the tasks, the temporary MigrateOps virtual machine has already been created, and so far all of these actions are automated. Moving on, the Nutanix VM is deployed and registered with Cirrus Data Cloud. The H2H connection is created so that we have a secure data transfer. The destination virtual disk storage is prepared. From the MigrateOps reference, under Destination, we have the option to choose whether to use the native disk or not. If not, we will create a volume group, so it really depends on how we want to specify them. In this case, we can see from this Nutanix virtual machine, here's the 40 gig boot drive attached. And we have automatically created this, which is created by Cirrus Data Cloud, with 4 CPU, 8 gig of memory with the disks attached, just like the original source VM. This exact procedure can be used for any source environment and any source storage, no matter it is physical or VM from any hypervisors, no matter it is private cloud, public cloud. And we also have the volume group, pre-created into subnet 1, with everything just like how we specified it. A migration session is created, and data is synchronizing. Let's go and look at the migration session details. The C drive and E drive are migrating to Nutanix. We can track the progress with the change data map. The dirty blocks here show that this is a live migration. We can see the live migration I/O performance. Here is the thin data ratio alongside all other migration information we need. Here we can see that all these tasks are done automatically with MigrateOps. It has created a volume disk, attached volume group to VM, and basically everything. If I go to the storage container, we can see the volume group with the 1 gig allocated size is created. All right, my boot drive and data drive have completed the synchronization, and all this time the drives are still live. When I go back to the migration operation, this is now at a waiting stage. Upon reaching this stage, we will receive an email notification, and we can optionally set up an approval window if we decide to start cutover later. But let me just approve it right now for the demo. Once approved, the operation will proceed the rest of the steps. MigrateOps has then prepared compute cutover, where it configured the system to ensure that it had all essential drivers enabled and necessary configurations for our Nutanix VM based on best practices. The operation has proceeded further. Now, I have this migration report generated where I can always come back to the reports and view all the detailed information about this migration, and I can show this to my boss. Aha! Coming back to the operation, it is now reconfiguring my virtual machine. It is powering off the VM and making all the necessary adjustments, adjusting boot volume, and removed it. And the same goes for the data volume. And after the cleanup is completed, my new VM in Nutanix AHV is powered on automatically. Once everything turns green, the cutover process is done, and the migration operation is completed. Yay! I have also received the completed migration operation email notification. Now, let me head back to my Nutanix AHV. From the VM list, all the MigrateOps generated VMs and volumes for migration are gone and got cleaned up. All that I have left right now is the STW2K22 machine. It is automatically powered off in VMware, and it is now running on Nutanix with the same 8 gig memory and 4 CPU. Let me launch the console. It has booted up properly. From the system information, we can see that the same Windows 2022 server is running on Nutanix AHV. From the disk management, my credit card info E drive and the C drive are all replicated, and this is a Nutanix virtual disk device. Also, from the device manager, it has automatically removed the original LSI controllers for VMware, and it has installed the Nutanix Virtual I/O pass-through controller. And all the necessary Nutanix virtual drivers are installed, just like this Nutanix balloon driver. This and all these tasks are done automatically with MigrateOps. Let's have a quick summary of what I did. First, I installed CMC on my host and set up the Nutanix AHV integration for the migration. Remember, our source can be any block storage, including RDM or other storage directly attached to the VM, which does not rely on VMware snapshot capabilities. Once I did this, I proceeded to create a migration operation configuration in YAML syntax. With the assistance of a generative AI tool and Cirrus Data Cloud's MigrateOps reference, the configuration was completed. Once the operation has started, all the necessary migration and cutover tasks were automatically completed upon confirmation. This is how you migrate to Nutanix AHV with Cirrus Migrate Cloud. And this concludes the demo. Thank you.